Hey guys, so in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make this Loomigurumi Octopus design, which was designed by me. I also already know I have like 2 octopus designs on this channel, but I had this idea in my head and it was too cute in concept to not make it, so we're having a 3rd octopus design on this channel. Also because like I feel like I don't have like a big octopus, and this guy, he's kind of big, at least compared to a lot of my other Loomigurumi designs. This is definitely a lot bigger. It was also very important to me that the undersides of his feet were like a different color. A couple people when I posted this asked if he was like the reversible octopuses. No, he does only stay on like one side. I also gave him funny little lips because I thought it was cute, and he almost looks like kind of like a water squirter octopus vibes, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. I thought it'd be cute to make an octopus that looks like this, so I did. And you could technically still give him like a cute face like I do on all my other designs, but I liked the little lips better. But that's just a me preference. If you want to just give him like a cute smiley face, you can. And like I said, he's got toes. I really love the detail of the toes. I just thought it was so much fun. And I thought it would be fun to have like a big octopus design on this channel. So that's what this is. This is a really big octopus. And you could technically actually like give him rainbow feet if you wanted, which is fun. Because we do all these individually, so you could just do like each in a different color. Which I haven't done yet, and I don't think I'm going to do today, even though I could do it today. But maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, and this is also a fairly easy design. I find that when I do bigger designs that they're kind of easier. So this design, in my opinion, is kind of easy, and I'm going to try to go slow so that way if you're newer to Loomigurumi, you can hopefully follow along and make this. I also just want to say, because I feel like my voice is going a little bit, I was sick like a week ago, and I just like can't seem to shake whatever it's doing to my voice. Like, I feel fine already, but for some reason I feel like I still sound a little like I'm sick. So there's that going on, but it should be fine. But yeah, these are the octopuses, and I hope you decide to make one. I think they're super fun, and I just love them. Oh, also before we get started, I am working on a medium version of this octopus design. His feet I need to like redo because I don't like how they look. But I am working on a smaller version because I know that this guy's bigger and he takes a lot of bands, and like I feel like my whole thing for my channel is that my designs are small and don't take as many bands, so I'm working on a smaller one, and I'm working on an even babier one. I posted them on Instagram like this, so yeah. I will probably have I don't know if I'm going to make all 3 of them tutorials, but for sure there'll be like a slightly smaller, like medium-sized octopus on the channel at some point. Maybe not next, because I have a couple other ideas for what tutorials I want to do next. But yeah. So I guess we'll get started, or I guess I should tell you what you need so we can get started. Of course you're going to need some bands. I have decided that I'm making this guy this pretty like blue teal color today. I haven't decided what color I'm doing the like feet yet. I just realized I could have done multicolored feet. I was originally leaning towards either sun-kissed Persian bands or these sparkly purple bands, and I don't know what I'm going to do still. So we'll decide that when we get there. But for the main octopus color today, I'm going to be using this, and then I'll tell you what color I decide for the feet because I haven't decided yet. You're also going to want some safety eyes. I believe I used 6mm safety eyes, and yeah, you could also use beads, but I just have safety eyes, so I'm going to be using those again today. You're going to need a hook, or just like any kind of hook, something to loom with. I'll be using my double-ended hook today, but you can use any hook. You can use a crochet hook, Rainbowloom hook, plastic hook, anything works, but I will be using the Loomigurumi hook. And this is actually my original Loomigurumi hook, as you can see by how worn it is in the middle. But yeah. And the very last thing you're going to, well, you need 2 more things. You're going to need stuffing to stuff your octopus. I like using polyfill for this guy. I usually use cotton balls, but I find for bigger designs, because it makes them squishier, I like polyfill. So you can either use polyfill or cotton balls. I'm going to be using polyfill today. And then the very last thing you're going to need is a C-clip, or just something to mark your rows with. It could be a different colored band, it could be an S-clip, a G-clip, whatever. Just something to mark where you start and end. And after that long intro, we're going to get started. I feel like I had another thought. Oh, also, As always, the pattern is down in the description box below if you want to follow that. But if you want to loom with me, I'll be here. And yeah. It's so annoying that my voice hasn't like gone back to normal. I started filming and I thought my voice sounded fine this morning, but I hadn't talked to anyone today. So then I started talking to film and I was like, ooh, I sound a little funny. Maybe I don't sound funny and it's just like in my head and you guys are like, Ginger, you sound fine. But yeah. Also, the band count is down in the description below if you want to know how many bands this guy takes. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know, and I haven't done the band count yet, so if you're worried about how many bands he takes, you can check the description. Okay. We're gonna start with a tripled cap band with 6 stitches in it. I can't speak today, but when can I ever? Okay. I feel like I always get tongue-tied in tutorials. Okay, so we're gonna start by wrapping a band 3 times around our hook. So 1, 2, 3, and then, sorry, the lighting looked a little harsh. Oh. I'm always struggling with the lighting in my tutorials, I'm so sorry. Here we go. So once we have a cap band wrapped 3 times around our hook, we're gonna pull the band through. So we're gonna pull through everything on our hook, all 3 loops. Both ends back on our hook. You're going to push this back loop over the front loop, like that. And this will be our first stitch, but we want to put 6 stitches into this cap band, so we're going to go back in through the cap band, so all 3 loops. And then you're going to pull the band through just the cap band, so not this last loop. Both ends back on your hook. Push the back loop over the front loop. And then you'll push this loop from last time over as well. So we're going to do that 4 more times so we have 6 loops in total, because now we have 1, 2. And I'll show you again, but we're just going to repeat the exact same steps. So we're going to go in through the cap band, pull a band through just the cap band, put both ends back on our hook, push the back loop over the front loop, and then push the loop from last time over as well. Like that. And like I said, we're just going to keep repeating that until we have 6 loops. So now we're at 3, so 1, 2, 3. So we'll just go ahead and do it 3 more times. So through the cap band, pull a band through, both ends on our hook, back one over the front one, and then loop from last time over as well. We just need to do that 2 more times. So 1, 2. Like that. So now if you count, you should be at 6 loops, and I'll show you how to count, but we'll start by counting the one on our hook. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you can kind of see if you look at the cap band too, that you have 6 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But once you've made sure you have 6 loops, instead of going into the cap band, we're now going to go in through this first loop right here. So as you can see, this loop. We're going to put our hook through, and then we're going to take a band, pull it through that loop, both ends back on our hook, and then just like before, we'll push the back one over the front one, and then we'll push the loop from last time over as well. And then this is where we're going to put our C-clip. So you're just going to want to get your C-clip and clip it onto this band. Oh, I lost it. Like that. So that was the first step, which is sometimes the hardest step. I also always recommend that if you're struggling with like the cap band and the whole beginning sequence, to like watch what I do first and then try to do it yourself. I'm a very visual learner, so I find it helpful, and I find it also hard if you're like trying to like loom along with me and watch what I'm doing. So if you're confused, I really recommend just like watching what I'm doing first and then trying to do it yourself, just if you're struggling, because I know the first step's always the hardest, and after, like, what I feel like once you get past like the setup and the cap band, like it's all like pretty easy from here. And that's kind of what's nice about this guy, is he's so round, and I find like round things are so easy to make. You know, I really thought my voice was fine up until like 10 minutes ago. So for this next row, we are going to be increasing everything, and what that means is that every single stitch we do is going to be an increase, and at the end of this row we should be at 12 loops. So I'll show you in this first stitch, but this first one might be a little confusing because we already have one stitch in this loop, but all it increases is you're just doing 2 stitches in every loop all the way around. So like I said, this first loop already has 1, so to make it an increase we're going to go ahead and go back into that same loop and do another stitch. So through the loop, and then just the same as before, you'll pull a band through, push the back one over the front one, push the loop from last time over as well, and now you can see that this stitch has, or this loop has 2 stitches in it, so 1, 2, and that's an increase. And like I said, we're doing this all the way around, so for every single loop we're just going to be putting 2 stitches in it because we're increasing. But I'll show you again on the next stitch. So to do an increase, literally all you're going to do is you're going to make 1 stitch in the loop, and then you go back in, do another stitch, and that's an increase. And we just keep doing this all the way around. So again, we'll move to the next loop, do 2 stitches in this loop, that's our increase, and we just keep repeating this all the way around. And at the end, when we get to the C-clip, we should be at 12 loops. And then once you get to the C-clip, all we're going to do is we're going to go through this loop that has the C-clip on it, and we're going to make a stitch. So we'll pull a band through, both ends on our hook, push the back one over the front one, push the loop from last time over as well, and then we'll move our C-clip up. Like that. And now if you count around, you should be at 12 loops. So again, we'll start by counting the one on our hook. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like that. So that's it for that row, and for the next row we're going to be doing something very similar to the last row. We're going to be increasing every other, and what I mean by that is we're just going to be increasing every other loop. So we're going to alternate between doing a single stitch and an increase all the way around until we get to the C-clip, and at the end of this row we should be at 18 loops. So like I said, similar to last row, but instead of doing all increases, we're alternating between doing an increase and then a single stitch. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Also, I always get questions if I count how many bands I put on my finger. I kind of don't. I just put however many fit, and then I just loom. So this first stitch will count as our single stitch, so the next stitch is going to be an increase. So you'll go ahead and put 2 stitches in this loop. And because we're increasing every other loop, since we just did an increase, the next one will be a single stitch. So we'll just go ahead and just do 1 stitch in this loop. And then because we just did a single stitch, the next one will be an increase. So we'll do 2 stitches because that's what an increase is. Like that. And we'll just keep repeating this all the way around. So increase, and then we do a single stitch. And then we do an increase on the next one. And then because we just did an increase, if I can finish grabbing these loops, next one will be a single stitch. And we just keep doing this all the way around until we get to the C-clip. And at the end of this row, like I said, we should be at 18 loops. So single stitch, increase. We'll do an increase again. We'll do a single stitch and an increase, and I need more bands. So I'm just continuing what we've been doing. And then once again, once you get to the C-clip, you're just going to make a single stitch on the one with the C-clip on it. And you're going to take it off of the loop it's on and move it up onto the loop that is on your hook. Like that. And now if we count around, we should be at 18 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Like that. And your octopus should be looking, well, something like this. Okay. So that's it for that row. And for the next row, we are going to be increasing every third. And this is very similar to the rows we've been doing, and the last row as well. But we're just kind of increasing the amount of spaces we put between the increases. So this row, we're going to be doing 2 single stitches, and then on the third loop, we do an increase. And then we're just repeating that all the way around, just like before, until we get to the C-clip. And I'll show you what I mean by that, but I'm just picking up some bands real quick. I'm also so excited for this octopus color. I organized all my bands the other day, and I filmed it too, so we'll see if that ends up on my channel, but I don't know. Sometimes I film things and then I edit them and I'm like, I need to burn this, so we'll see if it ends up on my channel. But I found these turquoise, not turquoisey, they're like from the Glow treasure box, but it's like such a pretty teal, and I'm just so excited to use them. Anyways, back to the row. So this first one again is going to count as our first single stitch, and like I said, we're increasing every third loop, kind of is the way I think about it. So this will be our first stitch, so 1, and then we're going to do another single stitch, so that's 2, and then when we hit this third loop here, we're going to do an increase because we're increasing every third. So we'll go ahead and just like before, we'll put 2 stitches in this loop because that's what an increase is. And that's pretty much it. And then we just keep repeating this pattern all the way around. So I'll show you again because I know it's always confusing when we have the C-clip. So we just finished increasing, so we're going to restart the pattern. So 1 single stitch, 2 single stitch, and then on this third loop here, we'll go ahead and do an increase. So we'll put 2 stitches in this loop. And like I said, we just keep repeating this until we get to the C-clip. So again, 1 single stitch, 2 single stitches. And by the way, those are 2 separate single stitches. So I did 1 single stitch, 2 single stitch, and then on this third loop here, we'll do an increase. And once we get to the C-clip, we should be at 24 loops. I'm so used to kind of like loading up my finger and then not having to worry about it for a whole row, but because this design's a little bit bigger, I'm having to stop mid-row and like reload up my finger with bands. Okay, so I just increased, so we start the pattern again, so 1, 2, and then we increase. And I'm just repeating this until we get to the C-clip. I'm really trying to go slow right now because I'm hoping to put this in like my beginner Loomigurumi playlist. Hopefully. I think this is an easy design. I think I mentioned this at the beginning, but when things are bigger, I feel like it's so much easier to see what you're doing versus when you're making like tiny loom things and you like can barely see what's going on. And sometimes when I make stuff that's so small, I feel like I'm just like feeling the vibes. And because I loom for so long, like I know how it's supposed to be, but it's like weird. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyways, we're at the C-clip, so just like before, we're going to do a single stitch on the one with the C-clip on it. And then we'll take the C-clip off of the loop it's on and move it up onto the loop that is on our hook. Like that. So now if we count around, we should be at 24 loops. So again, always start by counting the one on your hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, I think. 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, we're all good. 24 loops. And he's starting to get a little big. Okay. I had to blow my nose right now. I don't know why. I also, like I said, I was sick like a week ago. I'm also just picking up bands and yapping. But I was sick like a week ago, and I feel like I have been so sick this past year. I don't know what it is. I feel like I usually get sick like once, maybe twice a year. I think in the past 12 months, I've been sick 4 or 5 times. And I don't know what that means. My immune system's terrible, maybe. Maybe it's just because I moved. I have no idea, but I feel like this past year I have gotten sick. Probably the most I have in a long time, and I don't know what's up with that, but I hate it. I hate being, I mean, no one likes being sick, but like, I also get so anxious when I'm sick. So it's just been kind of terrible. Yeah. It also got me thinking about, like, I'll probably talk about this more in a second because we're gonna have a repetitive row, but stories for later. Anyways, now that I've picked up my bands, this row is going to be very easy because the next row we're going to be doing is 1 row normal, so just 1 row, I don't know why I said it like that, 1 row of single stitches. So at the end of this row we should have the exact same number of loops we have this row, which is 24, so we're just doing 1 row of single stitches, 24 loops at the end, nice and easy. And all we're literally doing this row is we're just putting 1 stitch, so we're just doing single stitches all the way around. But we're just doing 1 stitch in every row, we're doing 1 stitch in every loop until we get to the C-clip. So just single stitches all the way, and at the end of this row, you should still be at 24 loops. I'm not really explaining what I'm doing because I'm literally just putting 1 stitch in each loop and just looming until we get to the C-clip. But yeah, I'm gonna start yapping a little because I feel like it takes me a second to get to the end because the sky's starting to get a little big. I also love the word yap. I feel like certain trendy words, I'm like, I don't like that, I don't associate with that. But the word yap, it's a good one. I don't even know if it's cool anymore. I feel so old. Sometimes I remember I'm 25 and I'm like, geez, I'm so old. But I'm gonna just start talking about things. I hope you guys don't mind. This is kind of just something I do in my tutorials. I like to talk about things that are going on in my life or just things I have on my mind to kind of like fill the gaps. And some of my favorite YouTubers used to do this like back in the day. Back in the day. I sound so old. Anyways, so like I was mentioning with the sickness earlier, it got me thinking about one of my friends who I actually accidentally got sick this last time I was sick because he came over and I got sick while he was here. Like, I felt fine, and then suddenly when he was here I was just like, oh, I do not feel well. And he usually stays with me for like a day or two. We were best friends in university, so we're still best friends now. So he comes over and we're like, we've been doing like a Star Wars marathon, which has been fun. All that aside though, I've known him for like 4 years now, and I feel like every single time I got sick or like me and his roommate would get sick, he would never get sick. So he's got like a crazy good immune system or something, because this man, I swear, he rarely gets sick. So I was surprised he got sick this last time, and I also felt so bad. I was like, I'm so sorry I gave you my germs, but yeah, it's just so weird that some people like rarely get sick, whereas I feel like if I'm around somebody who is sick, even if I like try to be positive and like not think about getting sick, I get sick like every single time without fail. So I think my immune system is just terrible. It does not fight off the germs. It just accepts them. But yeah, I was just... Sometimes I talk about things in the tutorial and I'm like, is this interesting at all? Probably not. But that is my 2 thoughts about germs and how I always get sick. And yeah. So interesting. Anyways, that was our row of single stitches. We're gonna go ahead and move our C-clip up, And then we're going to count around to make sure we're still at 24 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Cool. So now we are going to do our last row of increasing, and this will be our last row of increasing for the whole design. And we are going to do the exact same we did the row before this one, so we're going to increase every third again. So just like before, we're going to do 2 single stitches, and then we're going to increase on the third loop. And we just repeat that all the way around. So I'll show you again, in case you need a reminder of what that means. But this should be a fairly easy row. And then after this, we have a ton of repetitive rows. So that's fun. Okay. So just like before, we're increasing every third. So this one here will be our first single stitch. So 1, 2, and then on this third loop here, we'll do an increase. Like that. And we just keep repeating this all the way around. So again, 1 single stitch, 2 single stitch, and then on the third loop we increase. Like that. And we just keep repeating this all the way around. So 1, 2, and then we increase. And we just keep doing this. You know, I got a comment the other day on one of my videos, not a loom tutorial, which is what I mostly do, but I posted a polymer clay tutorial I never edited, and I just was like tired of having that footage sitting around, so like I finished editing it, I posted it on my channel. It's not perfect and I'm aware of that, but I'm really trying to like just post videos and like get better and not really think about how good it is or whatever. But somebody commented that like it reminded them of very like 2016 YouTube. And I don't know, that made me kind of happy because I feel like 2016 time era, like 2013, 2016 is when I used to watch a lot of YouTube. And I don't know, I feel like I liked the vibe of those videos. It's what I try to channel in a lot of my own tutorials and things. And then, you know, it just gets me thinking about like social media like now. I feel like it's so angry. Does anybody else just feel like everyone on here is so opinionated and angry and it's not fun? Like, I don't know. I feel like that's part of why I try to keep my tutorials like in the same layout or format of like the loomers I used to look up to, because I loved that format. And I know it's kind of like this is probably not the most efficient way to make a tutorial, but I don't know if I care. Like, I kind of like the idea that my, like, tutorials are supposed to be, like, they're long, and they're videos that you, like, sit down and follow along with, rather than something that, like, speeds through all the instructions and, like, maximum efficiency and, like, I don't know. Like, I have thought about maybe, like, releasing my patterns as shorts or something like that, just for people who do want just like a super fast tutorial, who've like seen all my patterns or something like that. But so that's maybe something I'll do, but I don't know. I feel like there's something about the way I like do tutorials that I just really love, and I love that they're not like I try to not dilly-dally around or whatever. I try to like focus on the instructions. But I do like that they're not so like super fast, everything's cut out, and they're kind of like, I kind of make them in the hopes that somebody like will loom along with this and like we can chill and loom together. You know, that parasocial vibe. I loved that parasocial vibe when I would watch Filling Spiffy's tutorials, so I feel like I try to channel that in my own videos. And I don't know, someone commented that my videos feel very like old YouTube, and it made me happy because that's kind of what I'm going for. Anyways, we're at the C-clip. So we're going to go ahead and move it up. And then we're going to count. We should be at 32. I'm going to be honest, I hate counting when things get big because there's just so many loops, but we're going to count to 32. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. 32 loops. I might want to count that again, but I also don't feel like it, so we're gonna leave it. So you should be at 32 loops. And like I said, that is all the increasing we are going to do for this octopus. And now we have a ton of repetitive rows. We are going to be doing 6 rows normal, so 6 rows of single stitches. At the end of each of these rows, you should still be at 32 loops. I'm gonna stay on camera and probably do like 2 or 3 rows with you, and then I'll go off camera and do the rest. It just is very repetitive. And while I like my tutorials to be somewhat long, I also don't want them to be like 2 hours long, so we're gonna do a couple rows together, and then we'll split our ways, and we'll come back and we'll finish the octopus. But yeah, it should be fairly simple. So I'll show you what to do, and yeah. So like I said, 6 rows, single stitches, 6 rows normal, whatever you want to call it. But we're just putting 1 stitch in every loop all the way around, just like we did before. And like I said, at the end of each of these rows, you should still be at 32 loops. And you can count it at the end of each of these rows if you want to make sure you're at 32. Usually I just wait until all the way I'm done with the rows and then count, which sometimes is not good because then I'll miss a loop and I won't notice till like 5 rows later. But do whatever feels right for you. But literally all I'm doing is I'm just putting 1 stitch in every loop all the way around until we get to the C-clip. Like I said, this is pretty repetitive. It also takes a second because of how big our octopus is getting. I'm so happy to have a big octopus design though, finally on my channel. I remember a couple years ago there was this loomer who made this really cute like big octopus design, and I like asked her if I could make a tutorial for it. We were sort of friends, and then she said no because her parents said that they didn't want me making a tutorial for her work, which I sort of get, but it was just, it was odd. And then she left the loom community, and I'm sad that I was never like, because everyone wanted the pattern for that design. Like I remember it was like very popular. Especially, I don't know, I made it and then a lot of people were like, give me the pattern, and I was like, it's not my pattern. It was somebody else's pattern. And then, yeah, she left the loom community. And I remember I even think I tried to reach out when she was like leaving the loom community. I was like, hey, you know, I'll give you credit. Could I just make a tutorial for your octopus design? I think it's so cute. Never got a reply back. So I'm kind of glad that I was able to make my own version of like a big, fun, like, almost does look like this like plushy octopus's design, because I don't know, I feel like there's not that many out there, and like this is a need in the tutorial world. I don't know. By the way, I'm still doing single stitches. It's just taking me forever to get to the other end. I also feel like this is a very like summertimey design. I love summer. I don't know if I've talked about this, but summer is definitely my favorite season. I just love the heat, which some people don't, and I get that, but I am somebody who's cold all the time. Like, I don't know why. I'm just cold more than I'm hot, so I love the heat. I love being able to go outside and, like, if it's, like, the air condition's on and, like, I'm cold, I can just, like, go defrost in the sun. Like, that's the best feeling, so, yeah. I also just, I love, like, I don't know, something about summertime. Summertime's my favorite season, and I feel like there's just, the sun's out longer, the vibes are better, like it's watermelon season, I don't know. So I'm excited to make a couple designs for summer. I have a couple ideas of like maybe designs similar to this size that I want to make. Like I think a pufferfish would be so cute, and that's like brewing in my head about a design I want to possibly make this summer. Also a mermaid. I've been thinking about doing a mermaid. I think it could be cute. I don't know why, just like mermaid design. Yeah. It really does take a second to get back. What kind of things do you guys associate with summer? I feel like for me, summer is just like the ocean, like water, I think water creatures, and like popsicles for sure. I've been drawing these like doodly blob popsicles. I'll probably post them on Instagram, but been doodling like blobs with popsicles, which is fun. So like popsicles I associate with summer, like ocean, water, obviously, sun. I don't know. I've been thinking of more summer designs, so if you have any summer design suggestions, you can leave them in the description, in the comments. But yeah. Anyways, that took forever, but we finished one row of single stitches. So we have to do that exact thing we just did 5 more times, so we have 6 rows in total. Like I said, I'm gonna stay on camera. I'm gonna probably do like 2 more rows with you, and then I'm gonna go off, and I'm gonna do the other 3 rows. Just because it's very repetitive. But I still want to keep you company for a little. And if you want to hear me talk and loom with me, we can do that right now. Also, I never want this to be one-sided. If you ever want to like leave a comment just about anything, about your life, about what you're thinking about, you can, and I'll read it and I'll try to reply. I feel like summer also makes me think of like just having a lot of time on my hands, because like this is actually my first summer, well, my second summer technically, but like I graduated college a year ago, and last summer was my first summer off in like ages. And this summer too, because I worked at a university this past year, I got like, they unfortunately were like, yeah, we have no work for you, so just go figure something out. Which had been fun, which was like so stressful, because like finding a job is the worst. It just is. Like, once you get a job, I feel like it's fine, but doing the whole job hunting thing, like applying everywhere, and like maybe they reach out, maybe they don't, it's just kind of stressful. At least I find it very stressful. So I was not happy that I had to, because I was very happy at the place I worked, and I have the option of going back again, like in August, but I had to find a summer job this year, and I did, and I was excited about it. I was working at like a cute coffee place downtown, and I was super excited, but I quit as of when I'm filming this because things went bad. So like I said, I was excited to work for this place. It was like a really nice place, and the pay, oh my god guys, I got my last paycheck like a couple days ago, and it was, I only worked 3 days before I quit. Well, no, I worked like 2 weeks in training where my pay was lower, but I worked only like 3 days, full pay, tips and everything, and guys, that check was so good. Like, I only worked 3 days and it was $500, and that is incredible for like any job. So the paychecks would have been so nice had I stayed, but I left for myself because the shifts started at 6 a.m., which is extremely early, but I had done 6 a.m. shifts before, so I was like, this is doable, I've done it before, I can do it again. But I kept running into problems with the management lady. She was nice to me in the beginning, and then she just got kind of intense, and I was like, I'm not gonna do too much for this job. I don't know, but like, I don't know. I just said I don't know like 50 times. But basically, when I signed up for the job, it was under the impression that I wasn't going to work 6 a.m. By the way, I'm still just doing single stitches around and talking. I don't remember if I said about that, but that's what's happening. But I signed up for this job knowing that I would sometimes do 6 a.m., like maybe 2 to 3 times a week, hoping for 2, and then I would work some afternoon shifts. And then she changed that on me, and suddenly I was doing 6 a.m. shifts every day, which was kind of brutal for me because I would have to be leaving my house at like 5:30 a.m., which means I had to be awake since 5 a.m. And all I've learned is that nobody should be awake at 5 a.m. And if you know somebody who works at 5 a.m., they just must be built different, because I'm not. It was terrible. And I tried to talk to her about it and be like, hey, you said I was gonna get some afternoon shifts, and like I talked to the other girl you hired who's gonna do the afternoon shifts, and she wants morning shifts, so can we work something out? And she was like, no. And I was like, what do you mean no? So she just kept scheduling, like not respecting my schedule at all. Also, this was a bit odd for a job, but I've worked a lot of places, and this was the first place where there was like, they were like, yeah, you maybe are gonna have to stay like like an hour to 2 hours past your shift, and you never know when it's gonna happen. Because I got upset one day because she didn't tell me, and there was nobody coming in after me. I don't know what happened, but so she was covering, like the manager was covering the shift after me, and I was on training pay, so that was only like $7.50 an hour, and I was like, this is ridiculous. And she basically had me running the whole shop by myself for not enough pay. And the other main problem I had with this job, oh, hold up, but the other main problem I had with this job is they had me working from like 6 a.m. to 1 to 2 p.m. depending on the day, or longer, with no breaks. And like, it was just too much. Like, it was so hard to take a break because I was the only person up there, and then the manager was kind of just like breathing down my neck watching everything I was doing. And I had tried to take a break, and I tried to ask because we allegedly got a lunch break. I was like, can I take my lunch break? And she would be like, no. Keep in mind, I haven't really eaten anything but like a granola bar since like 6 a.m. because I don't know if you've tried to eat breakfast at 6 a.m. It is just impossible. It's too early and your body's like, whoa. So yeah, all of those reasons I ended up quitting the summer job I got, which I was so sad about because I was like so stressed at the end of my other job, like trying to find a new job. And then I found this new job and I was like, great, like summer's lined up, summer's taken care of, incredible. And then it didn't work out. And when I saw the paycheck the other day, that was so good. I was like, I could have made so much this summer, but I know it wouldn't have been worth it because I started feeling so sick at the end, which is part of why I think I got sick. But I just started feeling so sick at the end because like working 9 hours, and this was like she had me constantly busy. Like there was no downtime with like no food, little sleep, even though I was trying to fix my sleep schedule. And she was just like not sympathetic to me. Even just like trying to take like a bathroom break, she would make a big deal out of it. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to be in this environment. And I just quit one day to the next, which I usually don't do. And I've only ever done that for one other job. And again, it was because they started not treating me right. And I was like, I am worth more than this, and I left. But yeah, that was my summer job experience, which I was sad about because I also like, I also was really hoping it worked out. Anyways, that was row 2 of single stitches. I'm gonna stay on camera and do one more row with you, and then we'll split ways and go do the other 3 rows. But your octopus should be looking a little something like this. And we're just going to keep going around doing single stitches. And you should still be at 32 loops. I'm just going to wait till the end to count. But yeah, I was so sad about that job. Also because, like, I feel like doing the job was okay. Like, I like the work. I was working as a barista, so I got to make, like, lattes. And, oh my god, I love matcha. So I got to make my own matcha lattes, which was fun. And I got good at it. So, yeah, I was sad it didn't work out. But I also know I shouldn't let people treat me like that, so yep. I am currently jobless right now, which has me a little stressed because I have to pay rent, but hopefully, I'm hoping, I had a job interview yesterday for another barista position at a different cafe, so I'm hoping to hear back from them, and if I do, I will be employed, which is so nice. It's kind of crazy because I've been like low-key working since I was like 15. So I've been working for like 10 years now, so it feels odd whenever I don't have a job. I'm like, I should have a job. I need a job. A job would be nice. Yeah. Also because my other like big thing I want to do this summer is I want to get back to the studio. I also just realized a lot of you watching might not know too much about me, but I studied art. I love making art, and one of the forms of art I loved doing was metalsmithing, so that is like making jewelry and like small scale metalwork. And there is a metal studio down the street from where, well, sort of down the street from where I'm at, and the only problem is it costs like $50 a day to like get in the studio and like use the equipment. And the hard thing about metalwork is you do need the equipment. So one of my goals this summer is like to get back in there and start making new work again. But I just don't have the money right now, so I'm like really hoping for this job so I can like get back in the studio. I'm also hoping to post more tutorials and stuff too. honestly, this summer, like, I am working, but I'm gonna work slightly less than I did in the school year, because when I go back, in August, when the school year starts again, I have to work full-time. It's so crazy, because it's, like, adulting things, but, like, I'm gonna be kicked off my dad's insurance this year, so he's like, you really need a full-time job so you can get that insurance, and I'm like, I know, you're so right. And I feel like that's, like, the most, like, I'm an adult sentence ever, is, like, I'm getting kicked off the health insurance, but also, like, American healthcare, you know? I don't know. But yeah. That being said, I am excited to have more time this summer and, like, just do what I do. I've been looming a lot and just, like, working on designs. My problem is I keep making designs and then, like, not finishing them. I've got, like, a pile of, like, half-finished designs and, like, concepts on my desk that I just really need to finish, like, fleshing out. Yeah. I would like to hear if you have any plans this summer, if you're doing anything fun. Oh my god, the other thing that happened, well, other thing that's going on for me right now is I'm headed home in a few days, which I'm super excited about. I'll probably be at home by the time this video is posted, but I am headed home. Well, I live farther than my hometown, so I'm headed to my hometown to show an art piece, and I've never shown, like, any of my art in my hometown. But I got into a show, and it's at a pretty big museum in my hometown. Like, I mean, I'm comfortable saying where I'm from. I'm from El Paso, Texas, and I got into the International Museum of Art El Paso or something like that. They're doing a cool painting show, and one of my paintings got in, and I am so excited. It's a pretty big museum, but also I feel like it's a pretty cool show. And for the first time, because I usually show, like, well, I used to show in the area of my university, and now I've done, like, one show in my new area, but, this is, like, the first time that a lot of my family are going to be able to come to an opening and, like, see my work, and I'm so excited. But I'm so excited for the show. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun, so yeah, a lot of my friends and my family showing up. And my mom's so funny because she's, like, telling everybody from church, because, like, I grew up Catholic, so I went to church. But she's just so funny because she's like, I'm printing out flyers and I'm handing them out to all the people from church, and, like, I don't know. One of my friends who I've known for, like, God, I've known him since I was, like, 8 years old. He's gonna come, and I'm just so excited. So that's, like, that's, like, the biggest thing I have going on this summer. I have, like, no other plans for summer other than just, like, working on YouTube stuff. But yeah, so I just finished this row, and I'm gonna move the C-clip up. So we're at, like, 3 rows of single stitches right now, and like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and go off camera to do the last 3 rows, just so this tutorial isn't super long. But before I go do that, I do want to just say, if you have any cool plans for summer, or, like, anything fun going on, or anything you're excited about coming up if you're watching this video in, like, December or something, you can comment it down below. Let me know if you have something fun coming up. I don't know. Stuttering. I read all the comments, and I love hearing from you guys too. So yeah, let me know if you have anything going on, but that's kind of what's going on for me right now. I'm just jobless and working on my channel. Living life. I don't know. It's weird, because it's like, I'm sorry. I'm gonna just start the next row while I finish my yaps, but then I'm gonna dip. But, it is weird though, because, like, for the first time in my life, I don't have, like, school coming up, and I don't have, like, job. So it's kind of weird that for the first time in, like, ages, probably since the pandemic, I have, like, nothing going on, and I can just do whatever I want. So, a little weird, but it'll be okay. And it's kind of nice to have some time to myself, so, yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna go off camera. I'm gonna keep working on these rows. Like I said, we did 3 together, so we have to do 3 more, and then we'll be at 6 total. And then, yeah, so just come back and I'll tell you what to do next. And I hope, yeah, so many thoughts. Anyways, I'm gonna go finish these rows. Okay, so I just finished doing 6 rows. I also sneezed while I was pouring out bands, and I poured out way too many, but we're just gonna push that way. So after the 6 rows of single stitches, your octopus should be looking a little something like this. I know it kind of doesn't look like he's big enough yet, but once we start decreasing, he kind of just turns out into a ball shape. It works out in the end, just trust the process. But your octopus should be looking something like this. And you should have done 6 rows of single stitches. And if you count around, you should still be at 32 loops. So we're going to go ahead and count right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Like that. So for our next step, we are going to start decreasing. So we are going to start making this smaller and like giving him that rounded shape. So the next row we're going to be doing is going to be decreasing every third. And this is very similar to when we increased every third. But instead of increasing on the third loop, we're going to do a decrease. And I know we haven't decreased in this design yet, so I'm going to show you what that is. But it's the same concept. We're going to do 2 single stitches, and then on the third loop, we decrease. And I'm just going to pick up some bands before we get started. You know, I used to film like all my tutorials in one sitting, up until like probably this past year, maybe a little bit last year too. And I realized recently, like, I can just film a bit of a tutorial and then take a break and then come back and finish filming. I don't know why before I used to just like all in one sitting, non-stop, just like locked in tutorial. And now I'm like, I can film a little bit, I can go take a break, I can eat some food, and I can come back, which is actually what I did. I also watched The Punisher with, I think it's called Punisher, is it Punisher? The Punisher? Punisher? I don't know. With my little brother. It's the Marvel series that has like the Punisher character in it. Me and my little brother, we've been like slowly watching all of that. We started with Daredevil and now we're on Punisher. We watch Marvel together, it's like our thing. Anyways, this row. So like I said, decreasing every third. So this is one with the C-clip on it is going to count as 1, and then the next one will be 2. So we have 1, 2 single stitches, which means on this third loop here we're going to decrease. And we haven't decreased, so like I said, sorry. So to decrease, you're going to grab the inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, and then you'll just make a stitch like usual. So you'll pull the band through everything on your hook, both ends back on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and then push the loop from last time over. And that's a decrease. So technically we are like tying 2 loops together to make it 1 loop. That's basically what decreasing is. I'll show you again, but we are decreasing every third, so we have to do 2 single stitches first. So we're going to go ahead and do 1, 2, and then on the third loop, well technically it's the third and fourth loops, it's like the next 2 loops, but once you finish doing 2 single stitches, so 1, 2, we're going to go ahead and do a decrease. So you'll grab the inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, make a stitch. And we just keep repeating this all the way around. So I'll show you again. But like I said, decreasing every third. So first we got to do 2 single stitches. So 1, 2. And then once you finish your 2 single stitches, you'll go ahead and do a decrease. So you'll grab the inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, make a stitch. Like that. And we just keep repeating this until we get to the C-clip. And when we finish this row, we should be back at 24 loops. So 1, 2, and then once again we're going to decrease. So inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, make a stitch. 1, 2, and then inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop. I really do want to start making a couple more bigger Loomigurumi designs. I had a lot of fun making this octopus, and then I don't know if I've talked about this on this channel yet, but Rainbowloom sent me those like, what are they, like the Loomipal kits, where it's like the bunny, the parrot, the frog. I don't know if you follow them, if you've seen them, but they made some kits that are kind of like the Woobles kits, but they're like Loomigurumi kits, and they sent them to me and was like, hey, would you make them for us? And or like test them out for them. I didn't do a video. They kind of just like sent me the patterns kind of situation. And they sent me one of the kits and then I made them. But I don't know, I had never made like big Loomigurumi. They were just so much fun. So now I'm trying to make a couple more bigger Loomigurumi designs. just for fun. And I'm still gonna probably have mostly small designs on my channel because I know a lot of people don't have a lot of bands, so that way we're not doing too many band heavy things. And I think if I do it like a bigger design like this one, I will also have like a smaller version. Okay. Last decrease. And then once you get to the one with the C-clip, you'll just make a stitch on the one with the C-clip on it and move it up. So now if we count around, we should be at 24 loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Yeah. Like that. And as you can see, our octopus is starting to get that like round shape. So that's it for that row. For the next row, we are going to do 1 row normal, so 1 row of single stitches, and at the end of this row, we should still be at 24 loops. I'm not going to explain this row too much because we've done a lot of single rows, so this is just another single row, and it's very easy. Okay. Here we go. So once again, we're just doing 1 stitch per loop all the way around. Just 1 row of single stitches. And like I said, end of this row, you should still be at 24 loops. I'm excited because today, after I film this, I decided to film first. I was debating this morning if I should film first or bleach my hair first. I'm excited. I'm gonna bleach my hair. Well, not all of it. I dye my hair a lot. If you follow me on Instagram or like anywhere you've seen, I've had like colorful hair this whole past year. I don't know why. I feel like I feel more me with some sort of fun color in my hair. I don't know. I sort of always think I feel like some kind of Monster High doll, and I grew up like with Monster High dolls, so I think it's cool to have colored hair. But I'm gonna bleach it again because I cut all my hair off, which I don't think I've posted of my photo of myself, but like my hair is back to like shoulder length, and before it was like down to like my mid back. So I cut off most of my hair. I don't know. I get tired of my hair after a while. Like, I don't know why. But after I have my hair long for a minute, I get so tired of it, and then it's just like I want to chop it all off. So we've chopped it back to shoulder length, and it chopped off most of the dye I had because most of the dye I had was on the ends. So I'm gonna re-bleach it. And last time I bleached my hair, I bleached like most of it, like most of my hair was one color, but this time I'm just gonna do like the tips, and I have like a vision in my head. So I'm hoping it turns out well. This is also my first time bleaching my hair without my mom's help, because usually I go home and like me and my sister and like my mom will help us and we'll just all bleach our hair for fun. It's just kind of like a fun thing for all of us to do together, and my mom likes helping out. But this time I asked my sister if she wanted to bleach our hair together, and she was like no. So I'm just gonna bleach it by myself, and because it's just the tips, I think it should be easy. I am low-key scared that it's gonna go so bad though, because I've never bleached my hair by myself before, so we'll see. I mean, I assume you're gonna know if it goes bad or not, because if it went good, I'll probably post a photo of myself with my new hair on my Instagram, but if not, I'll just go into hiding, and for some reason I'll never show my face on a channel. It'll be a mystery as to why. I don't know. Hopefully it goes fine. I'm excited though, because I'm gonna do yellow tips, and yellow's my favorite color, so it'll be fun. Anyways, that's it for that one single row, and now if we count around, we should be at 24 loops. Also, I want to say, I'm sorry if you can hear the AC starting up. The way my new layout in my new apartment is, I'm right by the AC. It's kind of annoying, but it shouldn't be too loud. But we should be at 24 loops, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24 loops. And now, sometimes when we decrease, I'm like, it's not a big deal if you don't have the exact number of loops. This time, you are going to want to have the exact number of loops I have, because after this step we're gonna do the legs. And we do add the legs like in this row, and then we like continue to do stuff. But the way we do the legs, like there's some math involved and things, and we need to have like 24, so we have like 3 loops per leg. Otherwise it's all gonna be off and it'll just be messy. So try to make sure that you have the same number of loops as me. I would say if you're like 1 band short, just go take out a decrease, it'll be fine. If you have 1 too many, just decrease somewhere. Just make sure you're at 24 loops. And yeah. So like I said, we're gonna do the legs, and the legs are not that complicated. The way the legs work, actually, we're gonna do like the top part of the leg, and we're not going to do the bottom part until we finish the octopus. We kind of make all the legs, and then this bottom part will come in later, and we go back in and kind of like add it in. But we'll do all the legs, and then we basically just close them up after. And I'm reading my instructions to make sure I know how to do this, but I'm like 75% sure I do. Okay, I do remember how to do this. So, I feel like the legs, and this is part of why I think this design is good for beginners, because I feel like a lot of the time when you're new to Loomigurumi, attaching things is so hard. But this one's kind of nice, because it's like the legs are built into the design. You just have to like get the pattern. And I'm gonna try to go slow. We'll be fine. You'll be fine. Everything's fine. So the legs. So like I said, we're not bringing in the second color yet. We're still pretty much only looming with our main color until we finish the main part of the octopus. So don't worry about the other color. Okay. I had to double check my instructions, but we're all good. Like I said, I was 75% sure I got this. No, I'm joking. I know what I'm doing. So the first thing we actually want to do is we are going to undo this last stitch we did, because this whole row we are only going to be stitching on the outside of each loop. And what I mean by that is there are 2 sides to each loop, or this is how I look at it. Well, it's kind of like when we decreased. You have the inside part of the loop, and then you have the outside part of the loop. This whole row, we are only going to be stitching on the outside part of the loop. So we're going to go ahead and redo this first stitch that had our C-clip on it. But instead of going through both the loops, we're only going to go through this outer part. So we'll go ahead and remake that stitch, and we can put our C-clip back on it. Like that. So this whole row, we're going to be basically adding a leg every 3rd loop. So kind of like when we decreased every 3rd or increased every 3rd, we're now going to be adding a leg every 3rd. So this is our first stitch. And again, we're going to do another single stitch, but like I said, this row we're only stitching on the outside part of each loop. So instead of going through both loops, you're just going to go through that outside bit, make a single stitch. So now we have 2 single stitches, which means this will be our 3rd loop, and it's going to be time for a leg. So to make the legs, we're going to chain up 1, so we're going to pull a band through, both ends back on our hook, and then we're going to put 2 stitches in this chain. So we're going to go ahead and pull a band through everything, well, not everything, pull a band through just the chain, not this last loop. Put both ends back on our hook, push the back loop over the front loop, and then push the loop from last time over. And then we're going to go back through the chain, pull a band again through just the chain, make a stitch. Ooh, sorry, I'm letting go of my loops on accident right now. Make a stitch, push the loop from last time over, and then we're going to chain up again. So we're going to pull another band. Oh, okay. We're going to go back through our chain. We're going to pull a band through our chain, put both ends on our hook, and like I said, we're chaining up 1 more. So now we have 2 chains. And working in this top chain, we're going to put 5 stitches in it. So just like before, we're going to pull a band through just the chain, make a stitch, and then you push the back one over the front one. And then we're just going to make 4 more stitches in this top chain, so there's 5 total. So again, we'll go through the chain, make a stitch. We'll just make 5 single stitches in this top bit. I'm at 3 right now. like that. So you can kind of look and see. I find it easier to look from the other side. Also, don't pull your hook out. I just accidentally pulled my hook out. Don't pull your hook out. But if you look on this other side, you can kind of see that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops in this top one, and then 1, 2 on the bottom chain, like that. And so to finish off the leg, all we're gonna do is, now that we have 5 in this top portion, we're gonna finish off the other side of this chain. So we're gonna go back through this chain on the bottom, and we're just gonna do 2 stitches. So 1, and then 2. And that's it for the leg. And now, if you look at the leg, you can kind of see what we did. So we chained up 2, so we have these 2 chains, so 1, 2. Then on this one side of the chain we did 2 stitches, then we did 5 on top, and then we came back around and did 2. So your leg should look something like this. I'm going to show you again if you found that confusing. I'm going to try to explain again. I always try to explain things once or twice in case I don't explain it good the first time. Hopefully I explain it good the second time. So I'll show you how to keep going and do the legs, but basically we are just going to repeat the same process for all the legs. We'll do 2 single stitches, then we'll do this little bit for the leg, and then we just repeat all the way around until we get to the C-clip. And because I mathed correctly, we should have 8 legs by the time we get to the C-clip. Okay, so that was our first leg, and that was the first sequence for the first leg. And now we're just going to repeat for the rest of the legs. So we're going to go into the next loop, and we're just going to do a single stitch. So pull a band through, both ends on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and push the loop from last time over as well. Now I forgot to mention, but we're still only stitching on the outer half of the loops. When I'm explaining the legs, I'm probably going to forget to mention this, but just know that this whole row we're only stitching on the outer half of the loops, and we're leaving the inner half. So again, we're going to do another single stitch only on the outer half of the loop. So now we have 2 single stitches, so 1, 2. And then on this third loop, we're going to chain up to do another leg. So again, still only going through the outer half of the loop. And we're going to chain up 1. And then we're going to put 2 stitches in this chain. So we'll pull a band through, push the back one over the front one, and then push the loop from last time. Go back in, do another stitch. And once you have 2 stitches in this chain, you'll go ahead and chain up 1 more time. So pull a band through and put both ends back on your hook. And then we'll put 5 stitches in this chain. So we'll just start by pulling a band through that chain, both ends back on our hook, and then push the back one over the front one. Then push the loop from last time over. That's 1 stitch, so we'll go ahead and do 4 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So now we have 5 loops total in this top chain, so we can go ahead and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll come to the other side of this chain and we'll do our last 2 stitches. So on the other side of the chain, let me make sure we're in focus. We'll do 1, nope. I tried to put us in focus and somehow we got out of focus. Okay, 1, and then 2, and then that's it for the leg. So once again, just to recap so we can see, we have that first chain with 2 stitches on this side, then we made another chain, did 5 stitches in the top portion, then we came back around and did 2 stitches on the other side, and then that's it for the leg. And then we just keep repeating the process. So we'll do two single stitches, again still only on the outer loop, so 1, and then 2, so 2 single stitches, 1, 2. I also want to say that you kind of just keep looping, like you don't do any special like stitches at the end of the leg or anything, you just loop it right in, which you can kind of see. But now that we've done our 2 single stitches, on this next loop will be our next leg. I just need to pick up some bands. And I feel like the legs are easier this way because we just keep repeating this all the way around and then like suddenly you have legs and they look cute. So yeah, I hope it's not too bad and I hope you're doing okay. Again, I feel like this is another situation where if you're confused, it might be helpful to, instead of trying to loom along with the video, just watch the video first and then try to do it yourself. I find that helpful, so maybe. Also, I just want to say, which I haven't said at this point yet, I know I loom fast. I try to loom slow, but I think this is just as slow as I go. So if you ever need to pause the video, that's totally okay. You don't have to loom at the same speed as me. If you go faster than me, if you go slower than me, I don't know. But just know you can pause the video. You can always rewind. It's kind of like the, what is it? Like one of the bonuses of this being a video. Like you can rewatch as many times. Yeah. So, like I said, we're going to go ahead and start the next leg. I kind of started it without even saying anything, but we always start by chaining up 1, and then we put 2 stitches in this chain. So, 1, and then 2, 2 stitches in the chain. Then we chain up 1 more, put 5 stitches in the top chain. Okay, and then once we finish doing 5 stitches in the top chain, we're just going to put 2 stitches in the bottom chain again now that we've kind of made our way back around. So 1, 2, that, and then once again we'll just start repeating the process. So we'll do 2 single stitches, 1, 2, and it's very important that we are only stitching on the outside loop. If not, this next step after this one is going to be very hard. So I also just want to bring up, if you have not been only stitching on the outside loop, it is going to make the next step very hard. So just undo and go back if you have to, but just please make sure, like, it's kind of hard to see, but you can kind of see I'm only stitching on the outside part of the loop and the inside part is still here, like that. So just really make sure you're only grabbing the outside of each loop. Even if I forget to mention it, like I said, this whole row, we're only using the outside half of each of these loops. Anyways, we're gonna do the 4th leg, and then after I do the 4th leg, I'm just gonna like kind of speed through the rest of the legs. If you're still confused at that point, you can just rewind, but we just repeat the process. So hopefully at this point, I think you got it. I believe in you. This is one of the designs that I hope, you know, you guys, the loomers, loom community, are gonna like a lot, so I'm very excited to see people making this octopus. I just think that this is one of those, like, fun, simple designs. Anyways, we'll go ahead and do the 4th leg, so we'll chain up 1, and then we'll put 2 stitches in this chain. And then we'll chain up 1 more time. And then we'll put 5 stitches in this top chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like that. And then once we've done 5 stitches in this top chain, you're going to go back into the bottom chain and do 2, because we've kind of made our way around. So 1, 2, And that's it for this leg. And just like that, we've done half the legs. So we're like halfway there. And we're just gonna keep repeating this same process for all of the legs. So just doing 2 single stitches and then, sorry. We're gonna do 2 single stitches and then we're gonna add a leg and then we do 2 single stitches, add a leg, and we just keep doing this until we get to the C-clip and we have all 8 legs. So I'm gonna just keep adding legs. I'm not gonna explain too much what I'm doing. I might like sorta kinda say it, but we're just doing the same thing. And I am just picking up more bands. Okay. So now we're gonna do 2 single stitches. Again, still stitching on the outer loops. And then we'll add a leg. So chain up 1, do 2 stitches in that chain up again, and do 5 stitches. You know, I'm kind of tempted to give this one rainbow legs. Like, that could be fun. It's also Pride Month when I'm filming this. Yay for Pride Month. Sometimes I get worried because I didn't post on the 1st of like the month like, hey, happy Pride, like everyone was, just because I forgot. And I was also sick and dying, and I'm like, I wonder if people think I'm homophobic just because I forgot to post. And it's kind of weird with like social media activism like and stuff like that, because like if you don't say anything, it doesn't make you look bad. Like, I don't know, I'm a loomer, so I'm like, but I obviously support like and am an ally, or not even an ally, but you know, whatever. Now I'm overthinking it. I actually am working on a pride flag design, which I was gonna I'll show you at the end of the tutorial what I have so far, but I'm trying to make like a very simple like pride flag because I think it'd be fun. Anyways, that's leg number 5, so we'll just keep going. So again, 2 single stitches, 1, 2, and still only going on the outside part of each loop. And then we'll add our next leg, which will be leg number 6. But I need more bands. I am kind of sad this year because I've gone to the Pride Parade, I think the past 2 years in a row. And I love going. I go in my hometown, so I go in El Paso usually. But I go with my sister. And yeah, I'm not probably gonna make it this year, and I'm sad. The Pride Parade's like so much fun. At least in my hometown it is. Last year there was this cute dog that was just like next to me and I got to like pet his little head. I love dogs, so. But yeah, Pride Parades are so much fun. And I'm sad I can't go this year probably. Still working on this leg. 2 on the bottom. I feel like my voice is low-key going a little bit. It's not good. I don't know how even, like I'm not even sick anymore. I guess my voice just hates me. I do think it's funny because I put bands on this finger, but they're obviously a little too tight. Do you see how red my finger is? Like, I promise it's not suffocating, but like, that does not look good. Anyways, we're gonna keep going. We've got 2 more legs left to do. So 1, and then 2, and then we add our 7th leg. Oh my god, I had a thought and now I forgot whatever the heck I was gonna say. I feel like a lot of the time in these tutorials you just get like my stream of conscience like thoughts. I talk too much, like I know I do. It's just funny. I don't even know. I really wish I had a thought that was like, oh, I should talk about that. That would be fun. And now I can't remember it. And I hate when this happens to me. And like I'm gonna be laying in bed tonight and then it's gonna come back to me and I'll be like, that's what I should have said in the tutorial. But I don't remember right now. Yeah, oh, I know what I was gonna say. It was about my voice being gone. Because, you know, I mentioned earlier in this video how I got my friend sick. He comes, visits me all the time. And, yeah, when I got him sick, he texted me because he had already left. Well, it was like a couple days later, but none of these details are important. Anyways, he texted me a couple days later and he was like, oh my god, I feel sick. And then he was just telling me how he feels like he sounds like SpongeBob in that one episode where he's got the suds and he's talking all funny. And I don't know, I just thought of that right now because I feel like my voice is funny, and then I'm gonna watch this tutorial back and be like, oh my god, I also sound like SpongeBob with the suds. I only thought of my friend with that because one, I got him sick, and because I got him sick, he was like, do you want to like, because we watch a lot of TV together even though like we don't live in the same town anymore. He was like, do you want to watch the episode of SpongeBob with the suds tonight? And I was like, sure. He's like, it feels appropriate because I sound like that. And I was like, I guess. He's a funny guy. I love him a lot. Honestly, I miss a lot of my friends from college a lot of the time. Okay, we got one more leg left to go, but first we gotta do 2 single stitches. Still stitching on the outer loops. And then we have the final leg. I'm also not really explaining these last legs just because it gets repetitive. Also, your last leg should literally be on the loop before the C-clip. So we got the one with C-clip on it right here. The last free loop, that's where your leg goes. But yeah, it just gets repetitive, so I'm kind of just talking. I do miss my friends from university a lot, though. I think that's one of the things I miss most about being in college, which I feel like most people do once they leave, is just being so close to all your friends, because I still live by a few of them, like 2, but, you know, it's different, and it's also different because I was an art major, so I used to see all my friends, like, in the studio every day, and now I just don't. It's also sad because my main friend group that I hung out with in college, we still all sort of live around each other, but they got in a fight, and like we haven't been able to hang out the way we used to, and I miss it a lot because they were some of my best friends, so yeah. So that sucks, but not to end these legs on a downer, but I don't know, I was just thinking about that right now. I really feel like I'm ending these legs on a sad note. Oh my god. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to talk about, but yeah, those are just my thoughts. I'm also sorry if you can't see what I'm doing. I'm having to look over the camera because I just can't see. Like, this final leg is so annoying. Okay. So once you finish the leg and you finish doing that last, like, loop in the bottom of the chain, we're just gonna go ahead and you see we're gonna go through the C-clip, and we're gonna go through both of the loops with the C-clip. So not just the outer one, we're gonna go through both, and we're gonna pull a band through everything, and we're actually gonna push the back one over the front one and tie off. Like that. And we're gonna leave the C-clip in there, but that'll be it for the legs. And if we count, we should have 8 legs. That's basically the most important thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like that. And now our octopus is starting to look like an octopus, which is good. It's what we want. And this is why it was so important that we left the inner part of these loops. Let me zoom in so you guys can see. But as you can see, there's like the inner part where we can grab and like stitch around. That's how we're going to close this guy up. So it is very important that you only stitched on the outer part, because we're going to go back in and we're going to use these, like the other half of the loops, to close up. Yeah. So right now we're going to want to add our safety eyes and like stuff him. Now is a good time to do all that. I'm so not used to adding the safety eyes before we close. I kind of forgot to do that on these guys, and they don't have the back, so they just pop out, but I really need to add it now. I'm just gonna pick what I assume will be a good front for my octopus. I don't even know. Where should it be? I'll just do it opposite of the C-clip. And I'm just gonna put the eyes wherever feels right. I hate not being able to put the eyes in after. This is why I love beads. But I'm just gonna feel the vibe. That feels too close together. That feels decent. I don't know why his eyes look crooked. Probably because they are crooked. Is that good? Or should they be whiter? No, that looks good. So once your eyes look good, and like you leave enough little space for the mouth in the middle, I'm gonna go ahead and put the backs on my safety eyes. I might just turn them inside out. I don't know if that's gonna be helpful. Yeah, we'll turn him inside out. He looks in rough shape. I'll just go ahead and put the backs on these safety eyes so he doesn't lose his eyeballs. I actually took the orange one to El Paso with me. That's where I took the photo I posted on Instagram. I think I put it on the community tab too. And I lost one of his eyes while I was over there at my grandma's house. But luckily she found it in the carpet. She was like, I found his eye. And then I was able to take a photo because she found the eye. I didn't have any backup eyes in El Paso either. So I was like, well, I guess I can't take a photo of him or he'll be like with only one eye. Okay. So once you got your safety eyes in there, we'll move on to the next step, which is just stuffing him. I'm going to use polyfill today, so we'll just get a bunch of that and just stuff it in. I'm pretty bad about like remembering to stuff, so I think now before we just start closing it up is a good time to just stuff him as much as possible. He's looking so cute. Okay. Okay. So now it's a little it's not that complicated, but we want to stitch, like I said, on the inner half of the bands we left basically. And you can kind of see here, I have the inner part of all these loops, and that's what we're going to stitch on for this row. Sorry, let me double check something. I really don't remember. Okay, never mind. My pattern's correct. And this row, on top of only stitching on like that inner part that we left, we're also decreasing every third. So a lot going on this row. And the reason why I left the C-clip in here is so I can kind of see where to start. I can tell that this one with the C-clip on it and also where we tied off. So right here, I can see where this band, which one it's on. So I can see that my C-clip's on this band right here. So this will be our first loop where we start. And I'm just going to go ahead and make a stitch. Just a single stitch on the inside part of this loop here. And we're going to go ahead and move our C-clip right here. Like that. We could technically start anywhere, so don't worry if you don't start on exactly which is the first band. I just like to leave the C-clip there to give me a general idea of where I should start and end. This is also probably like the hardest row in this whole design, so once we get past this row it'll be a lot easier. But you can kind of see how I have the inner part of all of these loops that I can stitch on. And that's why it's very important that we left them open. So just like before, when we're decreasing every third, we're going to just do 2 single stitches and then a decrease. So this will be our 1 single stitch. Let me make sure my camera's in focus. So 1, the inner part, and again we're only stitching on the inner part of the loops here. I mean, it's the only part we can stitch on, but so 1, 2, and then this third one will be a decrease. And normally with decreases we grab the inner part and the outer part, but because we only have the inner part, we're just going to grab both inner parts and then make a stitch. And we just keep repeating this until we get to the C-clip basically. So we're only stitching on the inner part, so 1 and then 2, and then you'll do a decrease. And then once again, you're just grabbing the inner part of one loop, inner part of the next loop, make a stitch. And then we just keep repeating all the way around. So again, 1, 2, so 2 single stitches, still only stitching on that inner loop we left. And it helps to kind of, if you see what I'm doing, I'm kind of pushing the legs back and then pushing the stuffing away, just so I have a clear view of all these loops. So I just did 2 single stitches, so the next one will be my decrease. So inside part of one loop, inside part of the next loop, make a stitch, and then we'll do 2 single stitches again, so 1 and then 2. And then we decrease again. I'm gonna need to pick up more bands, but I'm almost there. And once we finish this really weird row, it kind of gets easy again because then we have the full loops we can loom on. It's just one odd row. Okay. And like I said, it really helps if you push the stuffing down and then push this area back. So like that. And then it's like I can see all the inner parts of the loop right here. So 1, and then 2. And then we'll do a decrease on the inner part. And I think we're almost back at the beginning. So 1, and then 2, and then this will be our last decrease, and I can tell it's our last decrease because we tie off after this. Like I can tell it's tied into here. So we'll go ahead and do this last decrease, and then we'll just go to the first stitch we made right here with the C-clip on it. Let me show you what I'm doing. So we just did that last decrease on the one where you can see it ties off up here. Now we're just going to go onto the C-clip, or go through the band that has a C-clip on it, make a stitch, and move our C-clip up. And now it's going to be a lot easier because we've remade the circle on the bottom. So it's a lot easier to see. Sorry. And now we're going to count to see how many loops we're at. So we should be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Do I have 16 or 17? I can't see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, so you should be at 18 loops. Like that. Yeah, 18 loops. So now we're going to repeat the same thing we just did last row again. We're going to do another row decreasing every third, but this time, sorry, I was writing something down. This time we can go through both loops. It was only just for that last row where we did like the weird only inner part of the loop thing. But now we're like back to being able to go through both loops. So just like last row, we're going to be decreasing every third, but the only difference is we're going to go through both the loops instead of just the one, or like the inner part. So, the one with the C-clip, I can't speak. Sorry. This video is going to be fun to edit. This will be 1, so 1, and then 2, and then we'll do a decrease. So we're going to decrease on the next ones. And like I said, since we can grab both loops again, we're going to do the same thing as before, where we grab the inner part of one loop, back part of the next loop, and then make a stitch. And then we'll just keep repeating that all the way around. So we'll do 2 single stitches. And again, we can go through both loops again. So 1, and then 2 single stitches. And then on the next loop, we'll do a decrease. So inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, make a stitch, and then just keep going around. So 1, 2, and then we'll decrease again. So inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, Make a stitch. I need more bands. And then 2. And then we'll do a decrease. And then we'll just do single stitches until we get to the C-clip. Look at that. We'll go ahead and move our C-clip up. I'm gonna be honest, at this point it doesn't really matter if we're a loop or 2 off, so I'm not gonna count. But if you decreased every third and now you're at the C-clip, we should be all good. I'll count just for like whatever's sake, but honestly you might be a little off and that's okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I have 14 loops, but if you have more, you have less, it's okay. And now we're just gonna decrease everything. So every single stitch we do is gonna be a decrease until we can't decrease anymore, and basically until we're closed. Yeah, so we're just gonna decrease until we can't decrease anymore. And that'll basically be it for closing this guy up. This is also now your last chance to add a little bit more stuffing if you want, and I think I'm gonna add a tiny bit more stuffing. So, go ahead. Add some more stuffing. That, I think we were just a little short. Yeah, that's a lot better. Okay. And like I said, we're just gonna decrease everything until we can't decrease anymore. And I'm gonna leave the C-clip in there because I still want to count at the end of this row. But every single stitch we do, and I know it's very hard to see what I'm doing, is gonna be a decrease. And we're just doing the same thing. So inside part of one loop, back part of the next loop, make a stitch. And we're just doing that all the way around until we can't decrease anymore. And it is very hard for me to show you what I'm doing because it just gets so tight. But I'm just doing decreases until we get to the C-clip. And I'll count when we get to the C-clip. But we're just decreasing. And once you get to the C-clip, I'm just going to do a decrease with the one with the C-clip on it. And we can take it out at this point, but I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 loops. 7 loops. And we're just going to keep decreasing until we literally can't anymore. And I know it's hard to see what I'm doing, but just keep going. And then once you have the last decrease you can possibly do up on your hook, you're just going to take a band, pull it through everything, put both ends on your hook, push the back one over the front one, and pull tight. Like that. And then we'll just go ahead and come up from the bottom and hide the tail. Like that. And then you kind of want to just give him a couple good squishes. I also noticed that I kind of pulled the stuffing up on some parts, so I'm trying to like tuck the stuffing back in. Oh no. Sorry, I accidentally undid one of my bands. Once you squish him around a little, you should look like this. I do think he needs a couple good squishes after we loom him, just because he kind of looks a little odd shaped. Like that. So, that's pretty much it for the main part of the octopus. We're pretty much done with our octopus main color. And the only thing we have left to do now is add the other color to the bottom of the feet. And also just make his mouth. So those are the next steps I'll be showing you. I just need to decide what color I want to do for his legs real quick. Okay, so I lied. We do still need our blue color, and as you can see, I'll focus my camera back there. As you can see back here, I have the colors for my legs. I'm going to be using Mango Man's and also Sunkissed Persian. I'm going to alternate the legs, which I didn't do on this guy. These guys have like solid one color legs, but I've decided this guy's gonna get 2 different color legs. So you're gonna want whatever color you want for the feet. You can do as many colors as you want. You could just do one. I'm gonna be alternating. And then we are still gonna need our main octopus color. So to do the legs, we are just gonna do a row around in our, but like I said, thoughts, words. So you're just gonna pick a leg. It doesn't really matter which leg we start at, so just pick a leg. I think I'm just gonna start in the back here just because it feels right. Also, this band keeps slipping off for me and I'm not sure why, so just make sure it's tied tight. I also might, let me tuck this in real quick. When I was picking out my colors, somehow that band came undone and my legs started falling apart. So I had to put it back together. So just make sure that this band doesn't come undone and like tuck it in or something. So mine came undone and it was not fun. Okay. So I'm gonna just start on this leg, and all we're gonna do is we are gonna do a row around our leg. And I usually just start on the first loop of the leg, and I can tell that this is the first stitch we made on the leg right here, and I can tell that this would be the first loop because I can see that it's coming from here. So just put your hook through that, make a stitch, and then put a C-clip on this first one like that. And I also need to pick up some blue bands because I have not done that yet. And now we're just gonna do single stitches all across this first bit until we get to the end of the leg, which will be, I mean, you can kind of tell which loop is the last one. It's that one right there. So we're just gonna do single stitches all the way until we get to that loop. So single stitches. That. And like I said, I usually stop my single stitches on this last chain, so you can kind of tell this chain looks like it's going towards the middle. I usually don't stitch on that one. I usually just stop it on this last chain right here. And then the very last place we're gonna stitch to kind of make it like a circle is we're gonna go in the middle here, and we're just gonna do a stitch on the loop that's in the middle between that chain. So we'll just do a stitch right there. And then when we get to the C-clip, we're only going to stitch on the inner half of the loop with the C-clip on it, and we're going to switch over to our bottom of the foot color. So whatever color you want for the bottom of your foot. For me, we're going to start with Sunkissed Persian. And you'll just pull this band through everything because we're switching colors. And then push the back one over the front one, and we'll move the C-clip onto this one. And now we're gonna just do a row around, but in only grabbing the inner part of each loop, and it'll be in our leg color, or like the under leg color. So again, we're just doing single stitches, but we're only stitching on the inner part of each loop. And we're just doing this all the way around. And I know it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing, but this is again one of those situations where there's not too much I can do about it because it's just really tight and kind of awkward to show you guys. But I'm just doing what I said I was doing, so I'm just doing a row of single stitches around the little thing we just made. And make sure you don't miss this one that's in the middle. It kind of likes to hide. Actually, these last two loops, let me show you. These last two loops that are like in the middle here like to hide, so just make sure you don't miss them. Like that. Okay. So once you get to the one that has a C-clip on it, we're just going to go ahead and take that C-clip out. And we're going to move on to the next step, which we are going to kind of like stitch up the sides together. So you're going to take your octopus foot, you're going to squish it together, and then we're going to grab the inner part of these two loops that are across from each other, and we'll just make a stitch. And then we'll do that again. So these two inner parts that are across from each other, pick them up, make a stitch, and then these last two, which are the last two that are across from each other, we're just going to pick them up, and then we'll just pull a band through everything, push the back one over the front one, and pull tight. And then we'll hide the tail into the foot, so just go through, and then just hide the tail inside. Then you kind of want to squish it down a little bit, like that. And that is how you do the underside of the foot. And I know that's a little complicated, but after you do a few, it's just super easy. So I'm going to show you probably two more times. And then I'm going to go off camera to do the rest of the legs, because it would just kind of be overkill to do all the legs on camera. So I'm going to show you two more times. And there's also the pattern in the description. But I promise after you do like two legs, it's just like super easy. But yeah, that first leg might have been a little confusing, so I'm going to show you again. So just the same as before. I know that this loop here is like the first stitch on the leg, so right here. And we're just going to stitch around until we get to this loop right here. So just the one before it kind of goes into this middle bit, so right here. And we're just going to do single stitches all across these. So starting right here. And we could put a C-clip on this one because it kind of helps us remember where we start. And then we'll just keep going. So we're just doing single stitches. And like I said, once you get to this one, this is like the last loop before it goes into these loops that are kind of like in the middle of the leg, so the one right here. And you can kind of see that this loop belongs to like this stitch. That's going to be the last one we do on the side here. And then our very last stitch is going to be on this in-between band that the chain is on. So you can see that. Our leg's right here. Just going to go in between that chain. Pick up this one loop. Make a stitch on it, like that. And then you should be back at the C-clip. And once you're back at the C-clip, you're going to only go through the inner part of this loop. And you're going to switch over to your under leg color, which for me is going to be mango this time because I'm alternating legs. And you'll just pull it through everything on your hook because we're switching colors. And then push up the back one over the front one and move your C-clip up onto this band. Like that. And now we're going to do a row around this, only grabbing the inner part of the loop. So just going around, grabbing only the inner part. And just doing single stitches. on the inner loop. And this is just so we can give it that edge that I think looks nice. And just make sure that you don't miss these two loops that are like before the one with the C-clip on it. They kind of like to hide, but I can tell that they're right here. That. And then once you finish stitching on all the loops, we'll go ahead and take our C-clip out. And then we're going to squish our leg together. So we have our leg. We're going to squish it like this. So all the loops kind of line up like that. And then we're going to go through the inner loop of the one on this side. Inner loop on the one across. Make a stitch. Then we'll do that again. This one. And the one across. Make a stitch. And then keeping the leg squished, we'll do that one more time. So this one, and the inner part of the one across. And then we'll take a band, pull it through everything, push the back one over the front one, and pull tight. And then you just hide your tail. And again, that's how you do the legs. So I'm going to go ahead and show you one more time, and then I'm going to do the rest of the legs off camera. Because it just kind of gets really repetitive. And this is like the best way I've found to do the legs so they look nice. But also have like a good amount of like band clustered on the bottom so he feels like he has cute little feet. Yeah, we have 2 done. 6 more to go. I'm gonna move on to this next leg and I'm gonna switch back to Sun-Kissed Persian. But first we need to do the row around because that's our first step. Starting on this one and then ending on this one. And then we do that one awkward one in the middle. So we'll do that. So we're gonna do our 1 row in our octopus color. I'm sorry, I'm picking up bands. I actually don't need that many bands. I don't know why I put so many bands on my finger. But again, starting on this first loop right here, I can tell that it's coming from this one. We'll just do single stitches all the way around the foot. And then once you get on the last, once you finish that last stitch on the one that's like before the ones that are kind of in the middle, so this one, you can see that all these are kind of like in the middle stitches. You're going to stop and then you'll just do that one awkward one in the middle. And I kind of literally just go through the chain and then just snag that one loop that comes up. Make a stitch on it. I realized I forgot to put my C-clip this time. Also, I'm sorry I let go of these loops and now they're undoing. But I actually usually do this without a C-clip, so I guess I can show you like that too. But once we get finished doing this awkward one in the middle, we'll be back at the start. So we can go ahead and switch over to our foot color, or our underfoot color, which for me is Sun-Kissed Persian. This is, by the way, my favorite band color by far. It's just so pretty. I love the color yellow, and I just love warm colors, so this is like my favorite band color. And I don't know, I realized recently, like, why don't I use it more? So I'm trying to use some of my more fancier bands for Loomigurumi. But once you get back to this first loop, you're just going to go through the inner part of that first one, and then you'll pull a band through everything, and then push the back one over the front one. And now we'll do a row around this, only grabbing the inner part of each loop. Or only making the stitch on the inner part. So we're just doing a row around. Only grabbing the inner part of the loops. And just make sure, again, always, I'm just reminding you that we don't miss these two loops that are going to be like in between the legs, because they tend to like hide. So just make sure you're not missing those. Still making stitches on like only the inner part. And then once you finish stitching basically on all the loops that are in the color of your octopus, you're gonna grab the leg, squish it together like this so that way the loops line up. And then you'll go through part of this loop, and you'll grab the inside part of this loop, grabbing the inside part. Wait, actually that might not be right. Squish. Hold up, sorry. My loops aren't lining up right. Oh no, they are. I'm just not starting soon enough. Right here. So you'll grab the inside part of this loop, inside part of this loop, make a stitch. And you just keep doing that all the way up. And then once you have the last two inside parts of the loop that you can get, you just pull a band through everything, push the back one over the front one, and pull tight. And then you just hide the tail. So that is how you do the under part of the leg, and like I said, we just keep repeating this for all the legs, and it gets very repetitive. So I'm gonna go off camera, and I'm gonna do the rest of the legs. If you're still confused on how to do the legs, or you can't remember all the steps, you could always follow the pattern in the description, which hopefully I wrote it correctly, but if not, you can always rewind this video and just rewatch how I did it for each leg, which is kind of, again, the beauty of video. But I'm gonna go off camera, I'm gonna finish giving him all his little legs, and then I'm gonna come back and I'll show you how to finish him up with the mouth. But yeah. Okay, so I finished doing all of his toes, and now he's got all his toes. And he's pretty much done now. The only last thing we have to do is to give him his round lips, and I'm going to be using Sunkissed Persian for this. So just this yellowy color. And the mouth is actually really easy, and it's like the only thing we have to attach, which again is kind of nice. So we're going to start by doubling. We're going to start by doubling a band, so we're going to wrap it just twice around our hook, so 1, 2, like that. My camera's not focusing, sorry. And then we're going to put 9 stitches in this band, so we're going to go ahead. That'll be 1, 2, and we're just going to keep adding stitches until we have 9, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. So if you want, you can count backwards from the one on your hook to make sure you have 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then once you've made sure you have 9 stitches, you're just going to go through the first loop, pull a band through everything on your hook, and just tie off. Like that. And now the only thing we have to do is tie this into the face. And I like to use the 2 bands in the color of my octopus, and we're just gonna put it right between the eyes. And I usually do it so that way like this part of the stitches is facing towards the face, so like that. And then I'll just hold it up, and then I go through part of the stitch, part of the octopus, pull the band through everything. Sorry, I'm snagging something. Oh. part of the stitch, part of the octopus. And then you just tie it off. And I usually do this once on top and then once on the bottom. So now I'll come to the bottom of the lips and do the same thing. I'm just going to go through part of the stitch and then go through part of my octopus and then pull the band through everything and then tie off. And now I'm just going to look at him to see if I like where his lips are. I kind of like to push them so that way they're in more of a circle. Just look at it. I think I'm pretty happy with it, so I'm going to go ahead and then we'll just tuck in all the tails. The two blue ones are fairly easy to tuck in because you're pretty close to the octopus, so you just tuck them in. And if you're not happy with where the lips are, it's literally trial and error until you get them in a spot that you like. For me, I can't tell right now because he's still like, oh, actually, they look really good. Yeah. For this guy, you kind of have to tuck it into the mouth a little bit before you tuck it into the octopus. But it's nothing major. So just in a little bit. And then you just tuck it the rest of the way into the octopus. Like that. And the only bad thing about polyfill is sometimes when you snag it, it'll come out. So let me just finish doing some last minute tucking. And that's pretty much it. Depending on how nicely you tuck this in is how messy it will look. Mine kind of looks a little messy, so I'll probably retuck this band up here. This one literally, you just have to get it to tuck in the correct way. You want to go in between the loops, which is what I did wrong. I kind of went over them, and I should have gone in between, so that way it hides better and doesn't look as messy. Usually, it only takes me two. Like, I only have to tie it on twice, and then it's pretty much stuck, and I don't have any issues with it. Like that. Oh my god, he kind of looks like he's Perry the Platypus colors now that I'm looking at him, which is not what I wanted. I just wanted fun summery colors, but now all I'm thinking is Perry the Platypus, so. But yeah, that'll be it for the octopus. He has his round little lips, which I think are cute. I was kind of trying to go for the vibe of like a water squirter octopus, like, I don't know. I feel like I had a toy or something like that when I was a kid. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the octopus design. Also, if you don't like the round mouth, you could just put him a little smile the way I usually do. I just think it kind of is an extra fun detail to give him like a round mouth like this. But that's pretty much it for the octopus. I hope your octopus came out okay. You also don't have to give him the lips if you're struggling with the lips. You can just leave him with just the eyes and he looks just as cute. I just give him the lips because it's a detail I like. But I think that is it for this tutorial. If you make one of these octopuses, please share them with me on Instagram. I love seeing when you guys make my things. I try to keep up with everything. But yeah, you can also let me know in the comments how your octopus turned out, what colors you used, anything you want to tell me. I tried my best to explain slow on this one, so hopefully some beginners were able to do it. But yeah. Just some other stuff I have coming up on this channel. I'm working on a butterfly design that I'm very excited about. This is like the main butterfly body, and I can't seem to get the wings right now. But hopefully tonight I'm going to work on the wings some more. But it's a butterfly. This will be like the main caterpillar part of the body, and then wings will come out. And then the fun thing about this design is it works as the butterfly, but then it also, if you turn it sideways, it works as a caterpillar. So I'm super excited for this design. This will probably be on my channel soon. On top of the butterfly, I have two cute little butterflies here. But on top of the butterfly, I've also been working on a couple different things. Like I said, hopefully we'll have some smaller sized octopuses soon. I just need to like finish finessing these designs. I also made an orange recently that I'm not sure if anyone would be interested in a tutorial for. I just kind of did it for fun. And on top of that, I'm kind of working on a pride flag design maybe too. I think it'd be cute if I put a face on this one, but those are some things I have in the works, and you can subscribe if you're interested in seeing when any of those tutorials come out. You can also follow me on Instagram if you want to know what I'm up to. If I'm sick and dying again and that's why there hasn't been a video, Instagram is a good place to keep up with me. So you can follow me on Instagram. I post about my art. I'm going to post about that art show I'm going to be in. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, Instagram's a great spot to keep up with me. And yeah, subscribe if you're excited for any of that. And also let me know which of these designs you're most excited for so I know what tutorial to make next. Anyways, I think that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and also I hope your octopus, like I said, I hope it turned out great. But I think that is it for this tutorial, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.